So we are in the little thief version of this, of the vacant lot next to the big building. We were about to talk to the kid. So what do you want? Sean, I wonder if you could tell us a little more about the circumstances surrounding your kidnapping. I'm sorry, you don't have to talk for him. He can just ask me himself. I went to the garbage disposal to throw away the flowers that were on the body. It wasn't far, and I figured they'd be less likely to find them there than if I threw them in a garbage can. I tried to get in there last night too, but it was locked. So you had to come back today and try again? Yeah, but when I was there, somebody came up behind me and put something over my face. Using is easy, 3Z with 3 Z's. The fact that she was drugged with it too doesn't seem to bother her. I guess it's a catchy name. Whoever it was pretty strong, but I never saw their face. I see, thank you, that's very helpful. What can you tell us about the time between when you were kidnapped and when you were found? I remember waking up feeling cold. I was somewhere big and empty and dark. There were cardboard boxes with some other language written on them. I figured it must be a storeroom. And that's where Kay and Detective Gumshoe found him. They really saved the day there. Guess the cooler must have been on until just before I was brought there. Like I said, it was pretty cold. Anyway, they didn't take my phone for some reason, so I used that to call for help. I see. Well, we're all very glad that you found your way back to us safely. Ugh, say it like you mean it, why don't you? He's not the most gracious child I've met. Is she insinuating that Edgeworth is that kind of a person? I'm gonna say he's gracious. No, he's not. He's a fucking pain in the ass. Bridled with unnecessary feelings. The porch swing with an elephant face on it. Behind it is what appears to be a motor. Wouldn't that be a little dangerous? True, but hardly applicable in this case. These footprints stop by the body. Is 12? It's a match. And these footprints go towards the body and come back. Size 9. Size 9 men's or women's? Alpha all down. The man who witnessed the president's kidnapping. What exactly did he see? It seems he suffered a blow to the back of the head. Looks like the blood flowed from the head wound and spread over the surrounding area. Thanks. Yay, an autopsy report, just what I always wanted. I must scour the scene and inspect anything that catches my attention. This was the brick used in the murder. A lot of blood. I doubt anyone could have bled that much and survived. Anyway, this certainly seems to confirm what the autopsy report suggests. Look at that. Believed to have been murdered during a call where he was detailing something he'd witnessed. Cause of death. Who's he? Died at around 1 AM on February 10th. That's a nice camera you got there. Is it a Canon? So the victim was carrying a camera. That's... And somebody's pointing a gun at him. This must be what Mr. Aldown witnessed. But if Agent Lang's father's theory is correct, the person wearing that trench coat is Warden Lagarde. He probably wasn't able to take anymore before he was attacked. Certainly isn't staged or anything, probably. How you doing, Mr. Alden? You okay? You feeling okay? Killed after witnessing the kidnapping of the President Wang. Even worse than the actual crime scene photos, that's a lot of blood. Seems to mostly come from the back of his head, as you can see that area is completely caked. Indeed, I imagine his attacker must have snuck up on him from behind. It looks as if he's clutching something. His right hand. It's a button. A button. Torn from the attacker's clothing, perhaps. Bloody button. Alright. You lethal? This cell phone must have belonged to the victim. His girlfriend. Alright. Hi, Lang. Please. Hey Rosie, it's me. I guess you're asleep already. Anyway, I'm here at the orphanage. Something weird's going on. President Wang is here for some reason. There's another... Damn it, the light's out. So I can't quite see, but... It looked like he was being kidnapped. Anyway, probably nothing, but I thought I should let you... What were those sounds at the end? Agent Lang, can I ask you something? Mr. Aldown's girlfriend, what was her name? Just as I thought. Her revenge for what happened 12 years ago. All Miss Ringer was left with the memories and personal effects of her lover. And so, seeking revenge on Chairman Winner, she made her appearance at the auction. Perhaps it was for his suppression of the kidnapping. Or perhaps it was because she thought he was one of the kidnappers. It would have been nice if she called somebody else and left a fucking phone message. The desire to steal treasures. Okay, you can't just make these things up. What we can say is it looks to be different from all the other flowers on the planter. What indeed? We should examine the planters too. Okay. Anger of the prosecutor, indeed. Alright, I guess we can't examine the planters from here. We should examine something that's in this scene, but not in this scene. We should examine a different scene. No. These planters. Just on each side. Yes, planters arranged in a very particular pattern. One we've seen somewhere before. Yes, but look at that one. Bright yellow. That's a lion lily, if I'm not very much mistaken. A rare member of the family Liliaceae. A lion lily, you say? What is the same flower doing here? This can't be a coincidence. Can it? I believe this particular cultivar is from Asia. What is said to symbolize the bond between parent and child. I wasn't aware you were so knowledgeable when it came to flowers, Francisca. What I just told you is common knowledge. Perhaps you just need to read a little more. What if you just pick up a book, Edgeworth? Have you thought about that? Yeah, I guess we'll talk to Lang. What's up, Lang? Is anything the matter, Agent Lang? Indeed, you've Chairman Winner to thank for that, it seems. In this scene somewhere before. What? He appears to be lost in his efforts to remember. Perhaps I should leave him alone for now. I'll be the judge of that. You know, you don't really have any room to talk, you big fucking asshole. Big chompers. He became obsessed, in other words. Hardly the best state of mind with which to undertake an inequity. No. I wonder if he learned anything of value. Do I have anything to show you? Yes. It sounds to me like one young cub in particular took his family's downfall very badly. I can only imagine how much the experience must have hurt him and his father. We will do all we can to bring this case to its conclusion at last, Agent Lang, I promise you. And I hope the story you just told us proves to be a useful clue in doing so. Listen. Edgeworth's only goal is the truth. You just happen to be around for it. Look at Ling's little hand gesture, it's so cute. I really like the animations. They're so good. Is he crying? Oh, thank God I already talked to Ed. Alright, tell me what you got. Lord howdy, is this ever a scope? Whole world's gone green. Must be an outbreak or something. I've seen green trees, green people, green clothes, green everything. They must be real sick even if their clothes are green. Looks like we wound up slap bang in the middle of a right dang place right in the right dang time. Sure did, Chief. Oh, thank God. And I don't think we want to. Can I look at this up now? This looks like a snowman, but it's mostly melted. What? Is what I bet you wanted me to say, isn't it? Well, too bad. We're a little multi-gay. Hey sis. How dare you, Scruffy? Don't you dare tell anybody else. Deny it anyway. What's the matter, detective? Curse you, Scruffy, I deny everything! It sounds like you went to a lot of trouble for it, Francisca. Don't worry, your efforts won't be for nothing. Solve this case, you'll see. A sister who definitely hates me. Indeed we have. It's the same one that stands over the entrance of the big building. Seems the architects worked the old archway into the structure of the new building. And for once, it seems you might have remembered it correctly. Well, it's not lunch, it's the building, so... Rawr. A big loo. It is quite large. You could probably fit as many as 3 people inside of it. 3 years? What about the summer? When the big... I mean... the igloo melt? Wouldn't the igloo melt? Oh, look at the turtles. A tortoise and a hare inspired by the children's story, no doubt. The tortoise races the speedy hare and wins. I don't need 3 options, Kay. He lost because he stopped to rest and fell asleep. Those are my only 3 options. Well, that definitely narrows it down. The bunny is definitely less charming than the turtle. Alright. Let's cue our way to victory, shall we? Well, that's what our monstrous hoof prints really were. Recall the arrangement of the prints, now compared to the planters. Right, I believe the footprints are located exactly where our planters once stood. He was, and why might he have been doing that? We have a piece of evidence in our possession that answers exactly that question. Which piece of evidence shows why Chairman Winner might have been digging in front of those planters? Alright, there's a letter. Nope. I think it's this. This.
Take that!
Rasante. Recall, if you will, the report that Warden Lagarde was sent to Chairman Winner. In it, she mentioned something that had been laid to rest in front of a planter. Because the report didn't specify which of the planters she meant. I imagine so, yes. Poor Chairman Winner. No idea. I think that's about all we can learn from the scene for now. That would be very much appreciated. Could you take us back to the moment at which the victim witnessed the kidnapping? There's Mr. Alldown in the middle of the planters. And how we wound up suspecting Fifi Lagarde. Was she the one running the She was the one running the orphanage at the time. He did. Felt Lagarde acquitted of the kidnap. Yes, they absolutely were accomplices. Your father was convinced that Lagarde was the culprit, correct? And you say he was a gifted and thorough investigator. And he must have had more to support his theory than just Mr. Aldown's message, surely. Agent Lang's father, DeLong Lang. Trusted ally and confidant of President Lang. He discovered truths that were subsequently suppressed by the Chairman Winner. Our first priority should be to find out what they were. Okay. These footprints stopped by the body. Mr. Aldan took his picture from the president's kidnapping from here. By which point his killer must have already been approaching from behind. Indeed, it still looked reasonably healthy at this point. Although not entirely, I can see one thing that's missing. You think one of the orphans took it? I'm not so sure. In fact, I think it was grabbed by somebody else entirely. The president's kidnapper. We should see if we can judge anything based on their appearance. First thing to note is that they're holding the president at gunpoint. Their coat and hat completely cover their face, so unfortunately we can't identify them that way. They seem pretty relaxed. I don't think they're particularly nervous. Okay, that's... Well, yes, but I didn't mean it like that. Yijun Wang, he was president of Zhangfa even back then. Yeah, he's been president for like 20 years, what the fuck? Indeed, and the situation being what it is, his facial expression is somewhat distorted. We don't know yet, but depending on how our investigation progresses, we may find out soon enough. Also, like, we're gonna do a deduction. Because somebody had a button in their fingers. Present. The snowman is missing a certain something, wouldn't you say? Little je ne sais quoi. Indeed, luckily we've managed to locate it. And if we suppose that button was indeed the snowman's missing eye, that presents something of a contradiction. What does the button contradict? The victim's location. The victim was clutching the button, and the button was covered with his blood. Which means he must have grabbed it after being attacked. On a little hypothetical, shall we? What if, after being struck, Mr. Aldan lost his balance and reached out to grab something to steady himself? The snowman. The snowman wouldn't have supported him, so he would have grasped the button and continued falling. I am, within arm's reach to be precise. And he's currently nowhere near that close. What if they want his footprints? I think we need to look at all the prints again. Take another look and see if we can figure it out. Can we really be sure that these are Mr. Alden's? But as we've established, when he was attacked, he fell and grabbed the button from the snowman. I think we can be reasonably certain that the prints were made by the shoes the victim was wearing. Or can we be certain that they were actually the victim's shoes? Perhaps we should take another look at them. I must scour the scene and inspect anything that catches my attention. I guess we'll look at your feetsies. How are your feetsies? These shoes, as the case file says, they match the footprints, but these aren't the victim's shoes, I'm sure of it. Look at how the laces are tied. Don't they look a little strange to you? What's more, they don't appear to fit properly. Well, they didn't actually belong to him. No, I don't think so. They're too small. That's easy enough. He didn't walk. He was carried by the killer. Is there anything else that we haven't investigated? I guess not. Just that. Alright. A body has been discovered. And Mr. Alden's body was moved. How else do we explain the button clenched? That would suggest he was killed somewhere near the snowman. I'm gonna take a closer look. Oh, we're gonna look at the snowman? I'm gonna scour the scene and inspect anything that catches my attention. Buttons? It can't be helped. Snow and ice eventually melt. That's just how it is. All you have to do is wait, okay? I have to work to solve these mysteries. They grow fainter as they get closer to the orphanage gates. Be that as it may, it certainly doesn't help in matching the prints up with the name and face. What else could we possibly investigate? Oh. Edgeworth, what do you fucking want from me, buddy? Oh, there's a missing brick. I'm blind. The rest of the brickwork looks fine. Strange that just one is missing. It seems quite likely that the missing brick was the one used in the murder, wouldn't you say? We have to conclude that the murder actually happened over by the snowman. Indeed. And what's more, if the murderer took the brick from right by the snowman, and then tried to sneak up on the victim all the way over by the planters. Exactly. I think we need to update the simulation, Kay. Mr. Aldon wasn't standing by the planters, he was standing next to the snowman. Gotcha. Well, this is messy. Messy. And none of this makes sense anymore. Planter. Yes, planters arranged in a very particular pattern. Yes, we know. Can you... All my cookie clicker abilities. Alright, oh yeah. Do you idiots have anything new to say? No. What about you, Lang? Nope. Indeed, everybody who was present in the exact same spot. Oh, clearly, something is fake. One of these pieces of evidence on which we based our simulation must be the source of the problem. What if one of them was faked somehow? But which one was it? Fucking this?
Take that!
Can we really be certain that this picture was taken by Mr. Alden? We know that whoever killed him moved his body. But why would they have done that? What if they wanted to make it seem like he saw something he didn't? They had the president at gunpoint. They could have easily forced him to pose for the picture. He would have had no choice but to comply. Indeed. I imagine his killer probably removed the film that was already in there. I wonder if that's what they dug up. And replaced it with another, thereby ensuring that the only picture found was the one they staged. Really easy to, like, destroy film, though, so why would they bury it instead of just put it in sunlight and trash it? And there you have it. The picture doesn't show what Mr. Alden saw at all. Seems highly likely that it was simply staged to make us believe that it was the case. Luckily, the photograph isn't the only piece of evidence we can use to try and figure that out. He did. I think we should listen back to it one more time, don't you? Oh, by the light that's out. That's right.
Take that!
I remembered a thing. Recall this statement from Mr. Alden's voicemail. Damn it, the light's out. Two of the lights here in the yard are broken. Alright, you update the simulation to reflect everything we've learned. Sure. Alright. So buff and manly. Busting out of that suit. I'm sorry, if you're wearing like 5 layers of cloth and it's still clinging to your fucking abs like that, like, are you vacuum sealed in? What's going on? Yes, which would certainly have strengthened the theory that they were connected to the orphanage. Well, that certainly changes what this particular part of the simulation tells us. I imagine it will also affect our understanding of the scene from when the body was found. Jumpy jump! To switch between the two recreations, I need to first press T to talk to K. And then select Switch Recreations. I'll give it a try later when I need it. But for now... check this all out. There's no mistaking it. This is where Mr. Alden actually took his pictures. Before being attacked, the murderer with a brick from the planter just behind him. After being attacked, he collapsed, grabbing the snowman's right eye as he fell. Indeed, we should examine the area where we previously thought it fell too. Mr. Alden wasn't killed here between the planters at all. Things have changed considerably in terms of what simulation is showing us. But if we want to look more closely at the blood, I think we'll be better off looking at the simulation from the point at which the body was discovered. Which is yes, I know. We'll bother Kay in a moment. Alright, everybody say cheese! Alright. Yes, which pretty clearly suggests a link between the kidnapping and the orphanage. You can see why so much trouble was taken to suggest that it happened elsewhere. Not to mention disposing of Mr. Alden's camera film and forcing the president to pose at gunpoint. They must have put in some new film and then staged the photo immediately after. It certainly doesn't help that the SS5 case was classified until recently. Indeed, although much still remains unclear. We need to look very closely at the differences between this and the previous. Alright, so T. Switchy switch. Now let's talk to her real quick. I'm not sure I do, actually. You were going to tell me no matter what I answered. And that the SS5 incident took place there 12 years ago. And they killed Mr. Alden, the only witness that we know of anyway. And then kept all the details secret for all of those years. The more I think about that. Lagarde, winner, President Wang. When I think back over the cases we've been involved with recently, it's true, I can't help but think they're all connected. The fire was started earlier on in the evening of the incident, if I remember rightly. Before the kidnapping and the murder, in other words. I wonder if it might, yes. Isn't there something here that can be correct if that can't be correct if the fire actually happened first? Take another look at the effects of the fire on the crime scene. Compare it to the evidence. Let me go through this again. Something that can't be correct. The blood's cut off. Or anything else? Fine, I'll switch. Stop yapping. Switch, please. Yes, please, Kay. This is where Mr. Alden really met his fate. But he was moved in order to make the scene consistent with the staged photographs. Yes, I think that tells us something important. That they were left by whoever carried him over there. I do wonder Where are the footprints of everybody else on that scene? Blood on the snow. A lot of it. Certainly looks as if a murder occurred here, doesn't it? We did. I think this blood might belong to somebody else. Need I remind you that the case was overseen by Chairman Winner? The man would have had no scruples about altering the official report record over something this small. He wasn't able to. Think about it. He knew that this is where the police would find Mr. Alden's body. He knew that the police would have certain scientific methods at their disposal to look for clues. Exactly. He wouldn't have been able to clean it up to the point where it was undetectable. Far easier to falsify the report of any such tests when they came back in. It would simply have been a matter of replacing the official results with a doctored copy. It does, and if they were, which seems entirely believable, it suggests that whoever's blood this is wasn't yet dry when Mr. Alden's body was placed here. I think it does, yes. But if that's the case, doesn't that present something of a contradiction? Mysterious bloodstain. Alright. Do we need to deduce anything? According to Francisca, yes, they're originally from Asia, if I recall correctly. What's the bond between parent and child, okay? Also, welcome back from Edgeworth. Thank you for sticking around through those. Because of the fire, one of the kids said. I imagine the snow here melted as a result. The fire came first, but just because it caused the snow to melt. Right, so deduce. Like this? Owie. My feelings. I'd better think this over again. I was melted by the fire. Annoying. I probably have to deduce the bloodstain. Maybe I just picked the wrong thing. Not like there's a lot to pick from, I'm just daft. Alright, there we go. The clear contradiction here. The blood is clearly cut off where the snow was melted by the fire, which means that the blood in question was spilled before the fire was started. If we choose to believe the case file, yes. But if the fire was actually set after what happened here, then why isn't there a witness statement? Because that would challenge Chairman Winner's version of events. find a child who is now an adult. I'll find a 12-year-old police report. Okay, that's only slightly more reasonable. There should. What kind of something exactly? My fault. Get a picture of it. Oh, what? Possibly a child from the orphanage. Possibly even the child who set the fire. Yes, Shifu! You don't have anything new to say. You don't believe there's anything more to be found here, then why did you alert me that there was more to be found here? Game. Alright, let's queue. Let's queue. If we can... If Chairman Winner was involved in the President Wang's abduction, then it seems likely that whatever he dug up yesterday had something to do with the kidnapping. You do? Well, ransom money. $100 million is an awful lot of cash. Burying it would have been a good way to keep it hidden until the heat died down. Certainly seems like a possibility. I don't know how they managed to bury it in the fucking winter. Ground's frozen. Let's take a look at this mysterious picture, shall we? How'd you get this picture from another place? From, like, another country? So quickly? This is the picture I remember. Of the flowers, who's cut the bull? Definitely the president. Gee, I wonder who this guy is. I like that he's got the one eye. The elephant thing. Could this be a depiction of something that happened in the night of the incident? Yes, and I'm willing to bet it's the work of the child who set the fire. I imagine he acquired it at some point during his investigation. Although I have no idea why he would have chosen to keep it to himself. Could we see the case file for the fire, too? If you'll just give me a moment to read through it. It seems the boy who started the fire and snuck out of bed on the evening of the incident. And then disappeared several days later. But sadly not unimaginable. Really? That's... What's it doing in that case file? Something very much like it, yes. We have a piece of evidence that could well be connected. Yeah, this.
Take that!
I don't know what it was doing in the evidence for that case, but it looks like that might be the missing horn from this soft toy. You've seen it before? I see. It has a special device inside that plays a recorded sound when you twist the horn. You never know. The toy itself should still be up on the 51st floor. That man's gonna be in excellent shape after all this running around. Pterosaurus dolly! Yay! Well, does the horn found at the orphanage fit the president's plushie? Hi Dijon, sorry President Wang, it's me, Amelie. I know it's been a while. I saw in the news that you were visiting the country soon. And I didn't know whether I should get in touch at all, but in the end I decided I had to.
Overruled.
Oh, turn it off. Turn it off right now. What's gotten into Judge Gaviel? Turn it off, please. You see, I had a baby. A beautiful little boy. Your beautiful little boy. I'm sorry, that's pretty much all I wanted to tell you. Oh, except I call him Sean. Sean Fen. It has a really nice ring to it, don't you think? No. Sean Fen. And also that I'll be at the orphanage on the evening of the 9th. I'll be waiting in the front yard. I thought you could meet him if you'd like, even if it's only just this once. I know you're a very busy man, but anyway, that's where I'll be. Goodbye. What? He was my dad? I'm so sorry, Sean. Sean isn't my biological son. I adopted him. And he was aware of this? Yes, of course. His mother, Amelie Fen, she died 5 years ago. We were cousins, but we were also friends, the best of friends, who often mistook us for sisters. And so when she died, it seemed only natural that Sean should come live with me. Of course, we had to keep his father's identity a secret. And I decided the best way to do that would be for him to never know in the first place. Well, that's quite a lot to learn from a recording made on a seemingly innocent toy. I guess Sean's mother must have recorded the message and then sent the plushie to the president. Hey. Yes, Sean? You're sure? He was really my dad? I'm sure. Before you were born, your mother worked for a time as a diplomat in Zhangfa. Makes sense. That line of work might well have brought her into contact with the president. What? You told me she worked at the orphanage. She did, but only after she returned. After she quit the diplomatic service. She always loved helping others. The orphanage was perfect for her.
Not so fast.
She never made it to the rendezvous that night. Someone was tailing her. Although that was Chairman Winner's doing, so sadly we can't prove it. And because she couldn't make it, she never saw the president again. And she died 5 years ago. This can't be easy for Sean. You think I can't buy myself a soda? This is important and it's about me. I'm staying. Sean, perhaps now you can guess why I met with the president 2 nights ago. So that's it. That was the big secret. I wanted to tell him face to face that Amelie was gone. but also that you were alive and well. More than well. But I... It makes sense now. No wonder Judge Gavial was so keen to avoid showing the details of their meeting. That was why I took the lion lilies with me. So there would be no doubt that I knew Amelie, and that I knew her well. These flowers bore a special significance for the two of them, you see. President Wang gave Amelie a bouquet of lion lilies in the early days of their romance. But now, he too is dead. If only he had lived. John might finally have been able to get to know him. Sounds like, oh fuck, I killed my own dad. The president's will, huh? We haven't seen him whip this animation out in a hot minute. What is it, Agent Lang? Does it have anything to do with our current case? Oh. Sean's name appears in the president's will? And we're certain that the document is authentic, that President Wang wrote it himself. Wang was a renowned world leader. A child nobody knew about would have been sure to cause a stir. And yet he chose to mention the child in his will nonetheless. Sorry. I don't know why we did a dramatic close-up for this. Sean. Sean. Get the fuck back here. To be continued. Hell yeah, I want to save my progress. April 6th, 4:51 p.m. Big building. Empty lot. Sean. He was my dad. It can't have been easy learning the truth about his father's identity so unexpectedly. And too late to ever get to know him. You know how hard I tried to find him? Sean. I get it. He was the president. He had a lot more to think about than just me. But he was right there in front of me, right on the set. Why? Why didn't he just say something? Why didn't he tell me who he was? I'm sorry, Sean. I'm so sorry. Not your fault, Mom. It's mine. If I hadn't broken my promise to you, that fire would have never happened and you wouldn't have... I've ruined everything. Everything, it's all my fault. I even ruined your flowers. Sean, please, you mustn't blame yourself. Just try to be here with me. Just for a little while. The bond between parent and child, symbolized by the lion lily. I'm no expert, but it's native to Zhangfa, so I know that much at least. Sadly, we don't have the luxury of dwelling on such things just now. I know it might seem insensitive, Agent Lang, but sentimentality won't help us here. We need to focus on what we can do about the case before us. I believe we've learned all we need to know about what happened back then for now. How did it all line up with your father's theories about the case? What about your own thoughts? Are you feeling any more positive in light of what we've learned from Kay's reconstruction? Are we any closer to learning what really happened 12 years ago? All the way to the truth. The president went to the orphanage that night, that much we know for sure. Torosaurus toy proves it. He must have gone there to meet with Amelia Fenn. Except that he was kidnapped and Alden happened to see it. If Alden hadn't been there wouldn't have been a murder, just a kidnap. He said they had to move his body to the planters and save a photo to throw everybody off the scent. Okay. So that's our current theory, is it? What don't you still understand? There is. It's a good question. We may be closer to discovering the answer than we think. We'll just have to get there one deduction at a time.
Hold it!
Nothing should be taken for granted at this stage. We need to treat even the seeming certainty with caution. Can we really be sure that the president went to the orphanage? There's no need to actually say it out loud, okay?
Hold it!
The plushie, it has a recording device concealed inside it, correct? You ever just forget what day it is all the time? To record a message asking the president to meet her at the orphanage at midnight. You do realize that there's nothing underneath all the layers of an onion, don't you, Kay? You should try to say something a little less unfortunate sounding. Yeah, you could have been here the whole time, Mio. He said less unfortunate sounding. The skin of a wolf. Bork bork. Sure, buddy.
Hold it!
Could we go over the details once again? So Mr. Alden saw the president being kidnapped from right by the orphanage. The murderer crept up behind him, grabbed a brick, and a woo. Calm down, Kay. We're simply verifying our understanding of the events.
Hold it!
I think that's a lie. If Mr. Alden hadn't been there, that's an interesting suggestion. Care to explain? Oh, the kidnapping, so he was murdered. But could it? He has a little victim blaming. You're not wrong, Kay. That's not what Agent Lang is saying, Kay. What he means is that Mr. Alden was the only person who died at the orphanage that night. She's right, of course, but why does something bother me about that? I think it might be worth taking another look over the evidence. We don't know for sure that the blood wasn't Alden's. But we've just decided this is true. I mean, it is true because I know the facts of the case, but it's just wild to me that Edgeworth is like, this fits with my theory, so I've decided to believe it. You're saying there would have been no murder if Mr. Alden hadn't witnessed the kidnapping. But is that really the case? I'm sorry, Mio. It'll be highlighted if you want to catch up with. And yet it remains possible that Mr. Alden wasn't the only person killed that night. No, then I'll be sad. There was a large pool of blood between the planters, but Mr. Alden was murdered over by the snowman. It can't have belonged to him. What if all that blood by the planters belonged to someone else? I do. It's hard to believe. I'll be the first to admit it. But it's what the evidence suggests. Not just one person was killed here 12 years ago, but two. Whoever covered up this other homicide did so very skillfully indeed. Two whole bitches dead. They even seem to have been able to avoid it by being mentioned in the files. So what happened was, you remember that that there was a dead investigator, like a journalist on the scene, because that's where we stopped last time. Okay, so we figured out that his body was moved. He didn't die in the middle of the planters like the scene would suggest, but there's still like this big pile of blood there. We've discovered that he died by the snowman, which was by the gate, and that he, the photograph that we have, this is fake. So here's the snowman. And we know that this is after he was killed because he got clunked in the back of the head and grabbed the snowman to help keep him up, and he has the button in his hand. So he died clutching the button. Mario 64 look at A. Kinda, yeah. So this was staged. This photograph was staged after he was dead. Here's the button that was in Alden's hand. And he also called his girlfriend, who is Rosie Ringer, the lady who died in the previous case at the big building. So, hey Rosie, it's me. I guess you're asleep already. Anyway, I'm here at the orphanage. Something weird's going on. President Wang is here for some reason, and there's another. Damn it, the light's out, so I can't quite see. But it looked like he was being kidnapped. Anyway, probably nothing. But I thought I should let you. And then he gets beamed in the head and dies. Well, on the phone to his girl. So, this is the. He's the reason that Rosie was after Winter in the first place, because she knew Winter had something to do with Alden's death. So that's why she was after Alden, and why Winter killed it. why Winter killed her. That's what we're doing now. We also got this beautiful child crayon drawing. Yes. I understand. I have accidentally called Winter several times during this playthrough. And also Alden's shoes. So his shoes are too big for him, but they match these prints coming up through the snow. What a beautiful drawings, yeah. We suspect one of the kids from the orphanage drew this. And it was at Lang's dad's house. So here's this. Nobody's figured out how any of this works, except that this is the president's plush toy. You like the bun bun? Yeah, there was a bunny, like one of those rocky things. There's a turtle and a bunny, so that you could race the turtle and the hare. The turtle is way cuter in the real life. The turtle is way cuter than the bun bun. The bun bun's actually kind of terrifying looking. So that's where we are. I think you're caught up. I didn't quite get rid of everything. We have a piece of evidence from 12 years ago that never managed to erase. And that is this bloodstain. So this is the bloodstain that was under our little friend here who got clocked in the head with a brick.
Take that!
Agent Lang, this item, Nope. I fucked up. Was that really not it? That's what I was thinking. There's another witness that night. Oh. The other witness is the kid's drawing. This clearly shows something else happened that night. Boop.
Take that!
Yay, T! Excelsius winner tried to shroud the existence of the other murder in darkness. But there was one piece of evidence he wasn't able to suppress. Thanks to the efforts of your father, Agent Lang. Cast your mind back, if you will. Something else was hidden along all the other evidence from the crime scene. The existence of the child who set fire in front of the orphanage. But why would Chairman Winner wish to erase him from the record? Because he saw something he should not have, that's why. The Borky Dork. It's right here in this picture. I think we can all agree that's the president on the right-hand side. And that's the Pterosaurus toy in his hand. But who's that standing across from him? Could it be the only person with a Borky Dork? It's Canis.
Take that!
Needed eye bleach. Eastern robes and a black dog that can only be Canis. Borky Dork. And what would a hired killer be doing in the presence of a president? I can think of only one thing. That's right. It wasn't a kidnapping that occurred here 12 years ago. It was an assassination. Look at him. He looks crazy. He looks so fucked up. Man, I didn't remember this picture being, like, looking that psychotic. Yes, I think they were complicit. More than complicit, in fact. One provided the venue for the killing, and the other suppressed the testimony of the child who witnessed it. Mr. Alden was murdered because of what he witnessed was actually an assassination, and not the kidnapping he thought it to be after all. Indeed, so we have a president killed 12 years ago and a president killed in the last 48 hours. Two presidents, in other words. Or is it? I think it's entirely possible for there to be two presidents. In fact, that would explain a lot. Oh no, two whole bitches? Yeah. So there's like three murders. A possible fourth one if you count the kid that's missing from 12 years ago. The President Agent Lang spoke of was a noble and capable leader. The presidential mask he has well and truly slipped. Entirely unlike the man we met. It really did seem as if they were two completely different people. But how could one country have two presidents? What could explain a situation like that? This is how it was possible for there to be two presidents. We've heard repeatedly that he used many means to keep himself safe, including body doubles. One of the two was a body double. Tell me that doesn't make sense. President Wang was a man of great power and influence in Zhangfa, a figure on the world stage. There must have been countless attempts on his life over the years, such as the one at Gold Lake only a few days ago. Do we have any proof that there was more than one president? Do we? That's a question I have. Do we? Just sitting here making confused panic noises. It has to be something from 12 years ago, right? Didn't exist, didn't exist, didn't exist. Existed. Not useful. On February 10th, 12 years ago, President of Zhangfa was kidnapped and ransomed for $100 million. President's presence at the embassy until midnight confirmed by Taelong Lang. Prosecutor in charge is Winner, says Beefy. Supposed to meet Amelia Fenn at the orphanage at midnight. Miss Al Afton was murdered, body moved, and photographed kidnapping stage. This, right? Probably this?
Take that!
Try that? I don't think he's noticed the contradiction staring him in the face. Or is he just unable to accept it? In Amelie Fenn's recording, she asked the president to be at the orphanage at midnight. But it shouldn't have been possible for him to be there at that time. Because he was supposedly still at the embassy. With your father, Agent Lang. So he had noticed. The only way he could have been in two places at once is if there were two of him. Oh, woo! Rawr, XD. Ooh, woo. Sorry. You gotta make fun of Lang a little bit. Oh, woo. So the real president, that was the one who died 12 years ago? I think it might have been. In order to figure that out, We'll need to look again at the piece of evidence we've recently discovered was a fake. Fake evidence. What was it again? You said recently received. Right? Recently discovered was a fake. Well, there's this. So we know this is fake. We know the shoes were faked. Fire was kind of faked. So much fake shit in this goddamn case. I don't know, man. Let's try this. The picture taken with Mr. Alden's camera was staged sometimes after his murder. And Mr. Alden was murdered because he witnessed the president's assassination. In other words, the photograph too must have been taken after the real president's death. So who is the president in the staged photograph? The body double. Nothing else makes sense. I believe the president's double had him killed so that he could take his place permanently. We've added a man. An Excelsior's winner and Fifi Lagarde helped him do it. No, in fact we know exactly where it wound up. The president's body was here the whole time. You guys just buried him in the fucking garden and nobody fucking noticed? Is that what you're telling me? Is that what you're fucking telling me? I've played this game before and I've forgotten the answer. Alright, fine. You know what? Chairman Winner dug something up last night. Something he couldn't trust anybody else to retrieve. We thought it might have been the ransom money, but it was actually something even more important. That's right, the real president's body. I think it's highly likely anyway. The body may have decomposed in the intervening years, but the bones would surely have remained. Mr. Powers informed us that construction is due to start here sometime soon. Everything had to be wrapped up before then. The shooting of the movie and the recovery of the president's remains. Agent Lang, we need to have this so-called monster footprints analyzed again. Yeah, I guess we do. Give me a cadaver dog. Why is your thumb so long, sir? Why is your thumb so big? Traces of human remains were found in the dirt along with other signs of a body having been buried. Oh, you think that's his forefinger? Okay. Edgeworth taps so much faster. Bones were also recovered from the home of Excelsior's winner. Oh, I'm so sorry, dude. The physique looks to be about right, and dental and medical records are a match. It's him, no doubt about it. So it's suspected the real President Wang was killed 12 years ago. The SS5 kidnapping was in fact a homicide. Yes, perhaps we should summarize our findings just to confirm that we understand everything correctly. That's so gross, he's just hauling around corpses, god damn it. 12 years ago, the real President Wang visited the orphanage. His aim? To meet his infant son. The footprints we originally assumed to be those of Mr. Alden seem likely to have actually been made by the President upon his arrival. But instead of being greeted by his child, he was met by the assassin, Ganis. Indeed, but at least with Mr. Canis, we can be sure that the job was swiftly and efficiently completed. I forgot how to talk. But then after the assassination, another tragedy occurred. Yes, it seems he witnessed a key moment in the evening's proceedings. Canis? In the moments when our culprits, the so-called kidnappers, took the President's body around to the side of the building. And that was the sight that sealed his fate. We've now established that he was standing by the orphanage gates at the time. Far enough away that he believed what he was seeing was the President's abduction. Oh, so they were carrying the body. And that's what Alden saw. At which point... the body double who had come to meet up with his co-conspirators walked right up behind Mr. Alden, took a brick, and smashed him over the head, leading to our unfortunate eyewitness. Yes, I think it probably was. Actually, I think they could. In fact, we have a piece of evidence that proves how that particular trick was achieved. Just had the body double manage to move the body without moving any... the fire? With the shoes. Because the shoes aren't Alden's, right? So I guess he could have just, like, barefoot walked back in his own footprint, right?
Take that!
What if the President's double moved Mr. Alden's body like this? After killing Mr. Alden, he could have carried him to the other side of the entrance. Given that his job was to just look like the President, he would be wearing the same shoes, meaning that if he stepped exactly in the footprints left by the real President, it would be hard to do while carrying a body. Like, I guess if you're not carrying it like princess style, you could still see. It would have looked like a single set of footprints. And there is what? Mr. Alden had seen the President at the orphanage and left a message on Ms. Ringer's phone describing what he thought he saw. It would have been impossible for the conspirators to erase that message, so they had to make it look as if the events described in the message were true. Exactly. I think the two people in the photograph are likely to be the body double and Fifi Lagarde. The two of them would have had to walk out beyond the orphanage gates to stage the photo. The body double could have put his feet in the real President's prints as he did before. Yes. The ones we originally thought belonged to the killer, yes. They were about a size 9, too small for Chairman Winner, in other words. Means the kidnapper must have been played by Warden Lagarde. And that explains how a so-called kidnapping was actually a presidential assassination. He must have But the picture was never officially put into evidence, correct? No, he appears to have kept hold of it after taking the witness statement of the child who drew it. Zangfall would have been plunged into chaos, no doubt. What? That sound, is that a bell? Canis, how the fuck are you here? Under purpose. Forgive me, but I couldn't help overhearing the fascinating conversation you were having. The opportunity to gloat over your past crimes was just too good to miss, I expect. I did, but it's not something I'm inclined to gloat over. I was more interested in something else you mentioned. Or someone else, I should say. Someone you're looking for, I suppose? Exactly. That's why I took a little sojourn from the penitentiary. Find a certain young pup. A young pup in a rather eye-catching red raincoat. What? Ah, thank you. I got a present.
Thank you for the arm warmers. I'm gonna stay warm and stylish.
Oh, I'm excited. Gonna have nice warm gloves on my desk. In a manner of speaking, what did you call them again? Secret mastermind. The prosecutor looks a little surprised, doesn't he, Helmut? Yes, he does. The young pup I mentioned, he saved my life, you know, 12 long years ago. As you have surmised, it was I who killed President Wang. That meant that I, too, became an inconvenience in need of removal. The imposter president, Winner, Lagarde, all three were keen to guarantee my silence. And if I hadn't met my friends, the young pup again, they might have even succeeded. I wonder what he's doing now. So it was the president's body double who hired you? I remember his words almost as if it were yesterday. But you get paid for, my dude. There was a difference, of course, even if he did look and sound exactly like him. Just because it walks and talks like a president, that doesn't make it a president, does it, boy? No. So he got his wish and became the boss, but he couldn't quite feel his predecessor's shoes. I'm the leader now. Me. It seems the king and his knight were much the same. The president's double knew his employer had a weakness, a young woman named Amelie. But in order to find her, he needed to enlist the help of locals. Locals such as Chairman Winter. Once Miss Fenn had been located, they simply needed to find the right time to lay their trap. Indeed, and with the head of the orphanage brought into the fold, their little conspiracy was complete. Warden Lagarde. Now, quid pro quo, where might I find the pup? What makes you think the boy who helped you and our mysterious string puller are one and the same? He set a little fire that night out there in the yard of the orphanage. Kind of prank. A prank? It was nothing of the sort, my dear. Oh, as I understand it, he had taken refuge in the igloo by the entrance. From there, he happened to see Winner and the guard carrying a dead body. He also overheard them hatching a sordid little plot. A plot to remove me, the only other person who knew that what had really happened, from the picture. Thankfully, he was kind enough to come and inform me. I was waiting inside the building, you see. He also happened to mention later on that he was wearing his favorite red raincoat. In any case, he escorted me from the premises. And, being a very considerate boy, thought to erase both of our footprints from the scene of the crime. It seems he had a little kerosene set inside in the igloo for just such an occasion. What a weird child, just like hoarding kerosene in a play structure. So he spread it liberally around the place and set himself a little fire. It must have been ever so beautiful. Winner and the guard were positively enchanted. And while they were distracted by the show, he took the opportunity to usher me out of a side entrance. You never answered my question. You really think he's the one behind all of this? I do indeed, don't I, Helmet? Yes. Yes, I do.